That's not what shareholders want to hear. I work for a company that is run by shareholders, and we missed our goal one quarter by 0.1%, and they fired like
People were jumping out of windows.
they got rid of 20, they got rid of
Jumping
20
or being thrown.
just in the Americas. They got rid of 22 like high valued employees. Like we needed them, and they got rid of them because they had
just for the bottom line.
Yep, they had to make up for the loss. So
that gives me, that's the big theory that I kind of have for maybe sort of why this happened too, or part of the reason why it happened is, to my knowledge, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, Nintendo's fiscal year ends in March and then begins again in April.
Yeah.
So I wonder if what they're trying to do, if you make it March 29th, March 30th, that this thing releases the last few days of your fiscal year.
That's very strategic, for sure.
You got it, right? Especially for investors. Hey,
I thought that right away when I heard
this
March.
This is the time to invest and buy shares in our company. Our next year, April 2017 to March 2018, is going to be ridiculous because our system launches right then. That's when all the Zelda NX sales are going to come in. That's when we're going to, before the end of the year, we're going to have our Mario. We're going to have Animal Crossing.
Splatoon 2.
Splatoon 2. Yeah, totally.
And they'll get a little bit of it for 2016. They'll get a little bit if they can get it out a couple weeks before the end of that. Then it'll go on the 2016 books.
Yep, you got it.
But
I'm sure that's part of it.
That's why it's March. I mean,
it's bad. It's bad for the short term, but it's the right move for the long term. I totally get it business-wise.
Yeah.
But let's just be real here. If all the games were going to be ready, and the system was going to have, they were going to have enough manufactured for a global release, it'd be out in November. I mean, there's just no reason not to.
I have to agree with that. Yeah, I think you're totally right.
Because that would look even better. Hey, look what our 2016 is going to look like, and then we're going to carry that momentum. Our 2017 is going to be even better, you know. So,
well, and someone brought up, and maybe it was you, Terminator, but for all we know, they might even need the extra actual manufacturing time of the boxes, of the machines. That could be possible too.
They're going global. Like a lot of people thought they'd do what PlayStation did very successfully, launch in North America, Europe, and then launch in Japan because the console market is different. But they've also just reiterated, Kimishima, that this is a new, I forget the exact quote, but basically it's just kind of a new take on gaming, probably for them. I don't think it's going to be for. So it's like a completely new. I don't know.
I know what you're. They've used a phrase to describe the newness of it, and I know. Yeah, I can't remember how they've said it.
So who knows what this? Maybe this will be something huge in Japan. I don't know, but the fact that it's global and they're making a point to launch globally.
Right at the end of that fiscal year.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of consoles manufactured, and I'm also wondering if that kind of leans towards the idea that maybe it won't be region locked, because
yeah, people hadn't thought that, right?
They kind of mentioned they were going to get away from that. It was, with the Wii U, it was too late, but because otherwise you could launch it in November.
That would be a mess.
But if it's region locked, then you're going to get screwed because Japan's people all over the world are going to want to buy it, and you're not going to have enough inventory, so it might as well just wait and do it global. That's just another little thing that they probably had to consider.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to point out that this isn't just them being evil and say screw you guys. This was probably I would say a very tough decision, and I'm guessing not everybody agreed with it. But you got to you hire Kimishima to make the decisions, and I'm sure he probably lost some sleep because delaying Zelda and the launch of, not delaying the launch, but basically giving up 2016 for any real profit.
And probably giving up completely on the Wii U. Like to the last possible degree. I think that they've officially said goodbye to that system.
And there's still like a year between this one and the next system. I'm one of the guys that because people were upset way before we were talking about Zelda coming out on NX, and then people were upset. It's like, oh man, what about the Wii U owners? And I'm like, well, there's only 13 million of us, in the broad scheme, they would like to hit 50 to 100 million, and we don't factor in that big in the broad scheme of things. But
No.
that was under the contingency of that they weren't just gonna like leave you completely high and dry.
Yeah, we thought we would still
Yeah.
get Zelda, maybe Pikmin would
Right.
come. Yeah.
And
mean, that would have
now
been
that
some
it's
good
like high and
momentum.
dry ish feeling over here. It's just like, wow, I didn't think they'd do that.
All right,
And
so
like right before E3, it's so weird. This whole
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah,
So
the E3. I hope we talk about the E3 stuff too.
well,
because
yeah, I want to break up the Zelda stuff. I got more Zelda related things, but
Okay.
we'll talk about the E3, which is involving Zelda basically. Like one of the positives is E3's focus is going to be on Zelda, and we're going to get a full blowout. It's going to be playable, and I'm guessing we're going to see it a ton, and it's going to be awesome. And but the fact they said that's going to be the only playable Wii U game, and that there won't be any NX, so there's not going to be any playable NX games. So basically, it's going to be Zelda and whatever 3DS has. That's E3.
And what my hope is, even though these games wouldn't be playable, they may still have some kind of a presentation. They may still reveal like a couple very small, probably not awesome-looking Wii U games, but some stuff that might be like semi-interesting.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe.
like some like to the I'm trying to think of a comparison, like Captain Toad, Kirby Rainbow Curse kinds of games, like
like
here's
Mario
two
Strikers.
Mario
they just
Strikers.
said playable, so you know.
Yeah, they could have a
could be
whole,
some stuff announced,
Yeah,
but
there
not
could be
just playable.
trailers. Yeah, That's my hope.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
hope.
but I wouldn't expect more than 2 Wii
Yeah,
U
it won't
games.
be that many
Sure.
more if there's anything, but
I mean, it's entirely possible they don't have even that. To tell you the
So
truth.
let's-
But
it's
I'm
very
prepared for
possible.
even-
This is
yeah.
how weird this whole situation is.
So
You know what's even weirder? Like, what if you're one of those guys that Nintendo gave like a pass to come to E3?
oh yeah.
Oh my God, you're totally right.
Like,
OJ
how
brought
bad are
it
you
up.
feeling right now?
Oh my God, the one E3 you go to is where they got nothing. Oh my God, dude, you're so right.
That's what OJ pointed out because
He did.
he sounded a little salty about he didn't get one, but some other YouTubers did. You know, they did the partnership and Obi-Wan
Mhm.
got one.
Yeah.
And it's like
I tried. I've actually been
Oh.
talking to some Nintendo peeps last
Well, you
couple
make a
weeks.
video? I haven't really looked.
I'm happy that because I'm not an Obi-Wan fan, so I'm happy.
Oh no,
he-
that's messed up, man. That's cool.
but I'm just joking. That does suck. It's like why invite people?
Yeah, and not even like they're expecting a blowout. They're expecting NX and all kinds of
Mhm.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Zelda is awesome, but that's it. You know, like, wow.
Yeah, that's really weird. So let's talk about no NX shown at E3, but they said they're going to show or give us details. Kimishima said he want to talk specs, he want to talk features and how the system works because it is different or whatever for them, and he wants to talk about that soon, and they will talk about it sometime this year. Why, if you're going to talk about it, like let's say a month or two after E3, then why not just talk about it at E3? It's not going to. It's like, well, you're gonna, ruin Zelda's presentation, and it's like, well,
No,
you're gonna
that's
do that
not-
anyway in a month or two. No one's gonna care about the E3, but you also got to figure Nintendo hasn't been so keen on E3 as much
Oh yeah,
the last
yeah.
few years, but
Well, and more companies are getting to be the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not
But
just
wha-
Nintendo. A lot of third-party companies are like,
Yeah, but why not show NX games or something? I mean, why not? What I don't understand why.
That's the $1 million question, man.
especially
like,
if you basically announced it in an investor meeting, the most boring way you could have announced when it's going to come. You've already done that. Why not just show some games? Like we already
Show
know
us-
it's coming.
Show us
some
Zelda.
games.
We know Zelda's coming.
Right? We know Zelda's coming, but show us something else.
I mean,
Yeah, there must be something about E3 that they're just afraid of. And I mean, yes, they said the window is March 2017 for the NX, but they didn't do what they did with the Wii, where they actually said the name of it and they had that
Mhm.
trailer that showed the new controller back in the day. This,
Yeah.
like, they didn't actually, like, talk about it other than to say this is when it'll come out. And
You're gonna have a E3 blowout of a game that's not gonna come for another 10 months. Like
I don't get it, man. I don't
Come
get it,
on.
man. And like you said, Terminator, like I am so pumped to get all the Zelda info. Like it's gonna be just the Zelda E3. That's what it is. It's like E3 is just Zelda. And we're gonna get the title, I think. You're totally right. We're gonna see gameplay. People are gonna get to play the Wii U version. And we're gonna learn how awesome this game is truly gonna be. That's gonna be really, really great. But to avoid everything else about E3, either they're afraid of something or they're still just not going to be ready in 2 months to show it off. Or
I'd
it
be
could just
I think
shocked.
be
Space World is coming back. I think
maybe something like that. Yes.
they want to have their own show again because
But
it's kind of like with the Nintendo Directs, right? Nintendo Directs have worked really well for them. They've been able to control the narrative.
Hmm.
There hasn't all this crazy stuff, coming out of those. And I think they're like, well, why don't we just get back to doing our own show because we can control the narrative again.
Well, and with Sony doing it now, Electronic Arts is doing it, Activision is doing
Right.
it. All of these companies are. Sony isn't skipping E3 now, but the
No.
other guys are. Nintendo has been slowly moving towards that, and they were the first to do it. So maybe the baby steps of like the E3 Directs kind of thing is starting to the ripple effect is being felt in the industry, and E3 is holding less relevance, and they save
E3 is
money
going to
by
become
not.
like Sundance,
Yeah.
And sadly, and
we
you
don't
have
know.
like the Marvel's doing their own show now
That's
soon,
true.
right?
Disney is, yeah.
Disney's
like,
doing their own thing, so
there's
everybody's kind of
Marvel
doing
is-
that.
Yeah, they're skipping Comic-Con altogether.
Right, they're skipping Comic-Con, so
Well, we don't know how expensive it is too for them.
Oh.
Just to, whatever they got to do at E3. I mean,
I
how
know-
much?
that's the thing, right? That was the big thing, is that it is very expensive,
Mhm.
and they wanted to get away from those expenses. So
Yeah,
that's when it
I've-
started
as
happening.
As someone who's been to E3 many years ago, and when you actually see what these booths are that are just set up in these, not to mention what it probably costs to rent one of the convention centers to then put on your press conference, guaranteed it's in the millions of dollars.
Yeah, easy.
Millions. Like there's smoke and lasers and lights, and there's people dancing, and there's employees, and there's screens upon screens. I mean, it's millions of dollars they're probably putting into it and saving by, probably a couple $100,000, write a script, put some trailers together, there's your Nintendo Direct.
Yeah,
That's
and you
what
think
E3
it cost
there you go.
benefit. Like,
Yep.
what is that really benefiting? What is E3 really benefiting them in the long run? Like, I think
Hasn't been.
Like, we're putting all this money into it, and we're not really getting much out of it, other than stuff that we can get just by putting out a little video. We can get all these media outlets to talk about whatever we want them to talk about, but just by throwing this little video out. You know, like why
then you
all
got-
this money?
If you're gonna show NX games, then you got to have demos available.
Right.
They got to, you
Yep.
know,
That takes resources away
yeah,
from
they have to.
I mean,
developing the game.
A good example is, if you remember, one of their best recent E3s was, I want to say 2010, which was when they showed the 3DS for the first time. They had Skyward Sword they revealed, Donkey Kong, GoldenEye, like Kirby, so many great games. And they had the 3DS. And that was the one where at the very end, as the conference was ending, all these girls with the 3DSs attached to them went out
I
of the
remember that,
audience
yeah.
for people to start playing with them. I mean, how much do you
That
think
must
it
have been
cost?
expensive.
That was hundreds of 3DSs that were right there
Mhm.
just to have people to play attached to a human being. Like, they're paying those girls too. Like, that's so
Yeah.
much they put
So,
together.
I mean, they might do the Nintendo World Championship again, which was cool. I don't know. They won't have the excitement of like a new
Nah.
of Mario Maker, but
And I think people are going to be bitter about Nintendo.
Just killed all
E3.
their excitement. They
Yeah.
killed. Yeah, people are going to be bitter. Like they're not here. There's
Yeah.
no NX.
we don't know their plans, so we can't say 100%. But
True.
the Treehouse is going to show a lot of 3DS games. If they're going to do the Treehouse, that's all they're going to have to show.
More
Yep.
3DS. 3DS.
So, but yeah, I mean, if they're not going to make a lot of money this year, maybe they're just like, we're going to have to save everything we can, so E3 is going to be minimal. I mean, who knows? We don't know, and it sucks to look at it from their business perspective as a gamer, as a fan.
Yeah, it's less fun to do so.
But for me personally, I was kind of relieved a little bit because I couldn't get that week off of work. This old guy I work with, he's going to retire, but yet he needs his vacation weeks, and so he took that whole week. And I was going to be like, if they reveal the NX and all these games, I'm not going to be able to get any damn work done throughout the day.
For E3,
So
right?
I was like really, what's the word I'm looking? I was dreading E3 this year. I was so bummed out that I couldn't get the week off that I was.
Yeah, I've already taken the week off. I got it set to go.
And because I didn't take the week off, I'm not mad because I would be if I had
Yeah.
taken the week off, or if I had planned on going because a lot of people thought NX. So I mean that's just a little personal reason why it takes a little bit of the sting off there, but it's still perplexing because you're gonna show the NX a month from now. Why not at least just show the games and talk about the system? You don't have to have demos and stuff.
Well, that's the question. Like, if they're not going to do it at E3, which they have said, you were just saying this, they said like in a couple of weeks they're probably going to fully detail everything they're actually doing at E3.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're not going to show the NX, when do you guys think they will officially talk about it?
Well, you can't wait too long.
I think it'll
They
be
can't.
August-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
I'd
Maybe
say
September at the latest.
I would think July, end of July would be smart. But
Well, so really soon after E3.
yeah, because how much time you want to give people to get excited about?
Man,
the
Nintendo don't
actual
care
NX?
about that stuff, man. Like, haven't you figured that out by now?
Well-
Nintendo does not care about that stuff going on
You know,
in the little chat rooms and the
They
Google
don't.
Hangouts. They don't care about the stuff. Look, I feel like for Nintendo.